Hello there again, this is Adrian, Datu of the Geeks, and you're on Nerd Rage. For the past 2 seasons and 1 episode, you've noticed that we've been talking to different kinds of people. We had Direct Mark Reyes and Jamie Wilson from Voltes 5 Legacy. We had June Lovejoy, and last week we had the awesome Eric Buendia. For today, we're talking to a different kind of fanboy, fan person, a pop culture fan. And with me here right now is the mayoralty candidate of Parañaque, Mr. Drew Uy.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for dropping by Nerd Rage.
Thank you for taking the time.
Oh, thank you for taking the time because you're gonna be busy, especially with the start of the campaign season. So, let's move away from politics a little bit. Let's get to know you. What people don't really know about you is that you are a geek.
Well, yes, pero it started way back Pokemon days.
Hala po.
So, yun, it started there. The first 151, memorized ko siya. I think until now, not in sequence, but all 151, I would know them. And then from there, unti-unti na siyang great teacher Onizuka. So it moved from there, and then started appreciating books like Artemis Fowl,
Okay.
Christopher Paolini, and then ang simula ko actually sa sci-fi, aside from 2001: A Space Odyssey, was Ender's Game.
Wait, 2001: A Space Odyssey, talaga the whole film? How old were you nung pinanood mo yung 2001?
No, kasi it was suggested actually. Medyo old na, nasa college na. It was a suggest kasi nga, I started hanging out with com arts students. So yun yung parang exposure ko talaga na parang, merong mas malalim pa talaga. Hindi siya basta-basta ang pew-pew-pew and the usual na way na sci-fi. So it started there. But tapos, yun nga, na-enjoy ko sobra yung Ender's Game as a book, and then when they release it as a film, that's later on parang that's how it's interpreted na. Kasi parang younger pa ako nung Ender's Game, so iba yung paningin ko noon, and then when I saw it later on, it was so different na for me. The experience was different, and then tuloy-tuloy na. Syempre, we have Star Wars, the usual, a little bit of Star Trek, pero more on Battlestar Galactica. Sobrang reference na, no? Dami ng reference. So yeah, halo-halo na siya, na parang na-enjoy ko naman siya, pero kasi nga, isa sa mga hirap din is madalas niche yung fandom natin na, well, especially for me na sobrang malami din kasi na wala naman akong masyado makausap din. Parang pinaka nakakausap ko lang was Harry Potter and Star Wars, the usual. Pero yung, kunyari, like something like Battlestar Galactica, like you, Doctor Who, na konti na nakakausap ko about Doctor Who.
Yeah, just to let the viewers know, parang when I first got to know him during the 2022 campaign, for transparency, parang I hosted his virtual meeting, the Avance. What made me realize that this guy was an ultra geek was when I have a TARDIS at home. Alright, so a life-size TARDIS. Pagbukas ng gate, when he arrived, yung reaction ni Drew sa TARDIS was tapos mangiyak-ngiyak na. Tapos I was like, wow, so this is how a Time Lord feels. Parang kulang na lang, parang, yup, bigger on the inside. You wanna join me? Time and space? Yung ganun. So, that thing with Doctor Who, parang what caused that emotion sa'yo? Kasi it was obvious.
Yeah.
So, what caused that emotion? And have you been familiar with Doctor Who? Or are you a fan of Doctor Who?
Well, syempre, for me, I didn't get to start with the original Doctor Who. I got to start with somewhere around yung latest na, yung reboot na siya, di ba? So, started with 10th, and then 11th, and then, si 9th medyo kasi siya parang introduction for me na hindi ko masyado na feel. Yung nagkaroon ng character talaga sa 11th for me. 10th and 11th. So, dun kasi parang ang dive into the British media for me, what it started way back was, I don't know if you know Skins, yung... So it started there. Wow,
so Anglophile ka pala.
So it started there, and then I started appreciating more British references. Tapos parang, meron palang sci-fi na British na sobrang tagal na pala since sobrang tagal na. So I started watching it and enjoyed it kasi parang yun yung talagang pwede mo siya masasabing escape kasi wala talaga siyang references whatsoever. Merong konti, pero as much as possible wala silang references. Just explore and enjoy the silliness of timey-wimey.
Oh, silly ang Doctor Who at its very core.
Yeah. So that's when also I started enjoying it talaga. Parang, that's just fun, then just sit back and relax and just get lost.
Yes, he had this virtual meeting that had inside the TARDIS.
Our reminders na lang for everyone who might not remember, this was during a pandemic, so we had to be online most of the time. So that's why it was very strategic to do it online.
Another thing na napansin ko sa'yo was nung pumasok ka sa bahay, so parang you needed to use the restroom. So nakita ko, may Star Wars socks ka. Parang, wow! Okay. Ultra nerd alert! Nerd alert!
Bakit nga ba? Hindi ko rin alam. Basta sinusuot ko lang talaga siya. Halo-halo din naman siya. I have like Spider-Man, I also have Batman, and then I have the different ones naman. Pero yun, sinuot ko lang siya for Kasi yun nga, madalas din, usually the geeks lang and the nerds would notice. Hindi siya napapansin ng madla. Parang, okay, cute. No. But not yung, fan siya.
So you are a Star Wars fan, no?
Yes, definitely.
What brought you to Star Wars?
Well, I think for the most part, like most everyone is the lightsabers. Kasi parang it tickles the fancy that a sword can basically almost cut through anything. And then, it's wang. As a kid, kasi that's how I experienced it as a kid. I was brought to the cinema and then that's what I saw, wang and pew 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 pew. And then later on, when I started getting older, did I realize na it was way more than pew pew and swing and wang.
Hanip sa sound effects. But ano yung biggest lesson na nakuha mo out of Star Wars?
Which one to quote? Well, where do I start? Siguro tulad nung, because we were talking earlier, do or do not, there is no try. Kasi siya, for me, biggest push na parang, sobrang parang ultimatum. Pero kasi parang, just, to quote another brand, just do it. Hence, here we are doing not this, but, running for something that I wouldn't even expect to think about running. So for me, it started there, and then all the other references din naman. Kasi nga, the fancy of the Force and fighting, and then struggling of one. Kasi diba, do or do not there. So try the struggle of one to try to overcome a literal Death Star. So yun, it came from there.
And kung kaya ng isa, that one person can, incite a movement. And that movement can incite change. Does that inform you as a politician?
Well, kasi maraming references ng kahit na yung bumubulong lang or maliit lang na tao, nag-iisa lang siya. Tapos parang nakaka-inspire kasi. So, for example na lang siguro si One Piece, ito nga si Star Wars, and all the others na parang yung hero's journey is usually it's just one, lost in confusion sa umpisa, hindi niya pa alam muna ang gagawin, and then slowly marirealize niya you want to fight for what is right, what is good, and what is just, and then more and more people would want to start working with you. A lot of them parang mag-isa, and then meron na siyang kasama, and then later on they're in a Millennium Falcon, marami na sila, may iba't ibang klaseng allies na, or the Thousand Sunny, naging crew na sila. So kasi naniniwala sila dun sa journey ni hero na kung saan gusto niyang pumunta at saan ano yung mga pinaglalaban niya. So yung mga yon, it's for me mas moving siya kasi parang alam mo na when people start believing in you, tapos you just simply telling the truth and what you want and your vision for the future, yung nakaka-push siya talaga sobra for me.
But the thing with leading, say, a group of people is it can get unwieldy. I mean, even sa fan communities pa lang, parang fan communities are basically para siyang microcosm of the bigger real world community, and fan communities are nuts. Diba? Parang may accusations na nga na toxic daw ang Star Wars fandom, halimbawa. And marami tayong nakikitang ganun kasi parang daming tao na lumalabas sa parang, gusto ko lang ng Star Wars. Ayoko ng politics. Remove politics from Star Wars and all that. So what do you say about that? Yung mga ganong opinion.
Well, funnily enough, the entire thing of Star Wars is politics. Like literally, it's the dark side and the light side, tapos the Republic and the diba? It's literally politics. They have a Senate. They literally have a Senate that they call upon to create, to change, diba? To command change.
Sa episode 1, the taxation of trade routes is in dispute. FYI, America.
Good call. Pero yeah, literally, diba? It's literal a play in power. Kasi, di ba, si Republic and the Empire, once there's a struggle, and then there are there's the revolution, and then there are the guards, there are the knights, there are the senators. Parang, it's literally a play in power and trying to exercise power. So, if we try, sana, we can extract the information from our fandoms, from a lot of them, not just in Star Wars from a lot of them, na meron din siyang sanang ma-inspire ka sana to try to do the right thing.
So tingin mo ba't may inability yung mga ibang tao na makuha yung mga lessons from their media, na parang kontento na sila na to stop na at entertainment? Tapos gusto ko ma-entertain lang ako. Gusto ko pew-pew. Gusto ko wang-wang.
Well, I guess kasama na rin siya sa Filipino mentality din kasi na parang it's a break. Lalo na kasi we started with MMFF before na puros tawa-tawa-tawa lang halos. And then or scare sometimes and then adventure sometimes, pero wala naman talagang binibigay na anything substantial. The goal is to make people laugh and then they stop there. Kasalanan actually siya ng media na pati commercials, it's either dancing or jingle or tawa again, na yung di tulad ng, kaya napakalaking bagay yung ginawa ni Nescafe na para kanino ka bumubangon. It was the first time that an ad actually tried to ask the right question na related siya sa branding, but at the same time, it makes you, oo nga no. Which is, for me, like the core of a lot of things. So, it was a big deal na shift ng konti yung media, especially commercials. Kasi sila yung widespread to have a shift of mind, yung thinking na, oo nga no, para kanino ko buong-bangon. And then from that on, we can see others try to copy or try to jump in. And then, at least kahit paano, kahit konti. And then later on, MMFF started selecting yung medyo may substantial na. Like most recently, The Kingdom, which tries to imagine, di ba, Philippines kung hindi tayo na-invade ng Spain. So, kasama na rin talaga si media, but also at the same time, parang kasama na rin sa culture na gusto lang tumawa ng Filipino, I guess.
Uphill battle, trying to confront and combat this, or trying to change people. Hindi naman natin mapipilit yung mga tao, kailangan yung moral lesson palagi ng Star Wars makukuha mo. But at the same time, hindi ka naman pwedeng, ma-in love say sa One Piece, or even sa Naruto, na hindi ka pa ma-in love sa mga ganun, na hindi mo nakukuha yung lessons. And to be honest, ako personally, everything in my life has been informed by the media I consume. Mm-hmm. So, yung mga lessons, ganun. Pero ako yun. So, nahihirapan lang ako na ma-comprehend minsan na parang, itong mga toy collectors na to, laruan lang yung habol, ganun. Okay, I don't want to say na, I want to educate this person. Mm-hmm. But how do we engage with people like that? Lalo sa fan communities. Kasi from fan communities, magta-translate din yan sa engagement in the greater community.
Well, how I see it is, actually, while we're at it and we're in the middle of it, why not utilize both? So, tulad na lang nung sa ginagawa sa Europe, or well, not necessarily Europe, sa UK is entertain and educate and inform at the same time, all of them at the same time. So kasi, especially when it comes to the psyche and psychology of the person, if something you find funny or interesting or humorous makes you remember it more. So while you're being in that state na you're being remembered or you're remembering something because it's funny, na isingit nyo na yung information, isingit nyo na yung education para at least masaya silang na-receive nila yung information na yan.
Pero you are facing this uphill battle now.
Yes.
And you are running for the mayoralty position in Parañaque again. What made you decide to run again for this one, for the second time?
Well, a little bit, yes. Medyo na-push ako. Kasi parang, actually, for whatever reason, I decided to do a rerun of Community. Last
Community,
year.
Okay.
Well, ano lang, kasi it's a fun way of, again, it's a different way of looking at things. Kasi diba yung Dan Harmon's way of doing the hero's journey was different. So it was a fun way of being able to look at things. And then later on, kasi parang as the registration was approaching for certificate of candidacy, people were started messaging, please run again, or we would like to keep supporting you. I know you lost last time, pero please do so again. Kasi parang wala naman daw kasing lumalaban sa Parañaque. Well, ang sabi ko na rin, if someone more worthy were to try to file as mayor for Parañaque, I'd happily back down. Kasi parang, yeah, it's yours na. As in, kung mas worthy ka for me, sure, no problem. So, yun, nag-file ako and then I waited for the announcement kung sino yung mga tumakbo and wala. So, this is me fighting with and for Parañaque.
So, isipin natin nasa hero's journey ka. What are you fighting for? As a person, as a human being?
Well, I'm fighting for just, literally, for the government to do the right thing. It's as simple as that. Na just do the right thing, just follow the law, not like skirt and bend it or around to your advantage. But it should be, and it is that simple. Na just transparency, good governance. Basically, that's about it. Na, and it from there kasi parang ano na siya, snowball. It will snowball to the bigger things later on, na especially for the bigger projects, for the bigger things, for the bigger programs that you want to implement. It starts there. So if at its core, you start pure, everything else would be so much easier and so much lighter.
Ano bang biggest problems in local government that that create all these roadblocks? Is it corruption? Is it just an inability to pay attention? Ano sa tingin mo yung nakikita mong problem ng local government leaders?
Well, one, it's they didn't opt in sa freedom of information. That's one. Parang red flag na talaga dapat siya kasi parang what are you trying to hide from everyone else, diba? Two, well, kasi na rin parang nasanay na rin yung mga tao, which is the problem, especially na long-standing na yung tradition ng pag-aabot. Siyempre, they created the law against it, but yung circumnavigated around it na ayuda, ang pinapamigay, not vote buying, yung mga ganong klaseng pasimple lang naman talaga. But for the most part, it's, I guess, inherent kasi sa mga Filipinos in wanting to try to protect the family. Like, so, imagine nyo na lang dahil nga lahat sila tumatakbo. So, they're trying to protect their family. Si dating older Olivares, trying to protect the children. So, binigyan sila ng position and then them naman trying to protect their own families and trying to give other positions. So, I guess from its very, very core, it's a Filipino wanting to try to protect the family. But, in Parañaque citywide scale ang nangyayari. But yeah, the main core of the problem is, I think it's both good and bad na wanting to try to protect na sumusobra na nagiging overprotective.
You strike me as a thoughtful person.
Thank you.
And I wonder if you've thought about this? Kasi, okay, you are running for a position, or for a powerful position on a local scale. But power tends to corrupt. Like the one ring. Iba, anyway, kasi the precious. Okay? So, once na, kunwari lang, manalo ka, tapos nakuha mo yung the one ring, power will tend to corrupt. And as another movie said,
you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
So have you thought of how will you be able to avoid, falling into the trap of corruption once you step into power? Because that's tough.
Easy. And just transparency. I just showed everyone. I'm not doing anything. And even if I did anything, if people would see, then I would be
held accountable.
Yeah, exactly. Or kasi they can see, people can see, and then I'll be held accountable and I can be,
I think yun yung hindi nare-realize ng mga tao eh. Parang in this nation of kampihan and different camps, this very polarized society, parang you don't really vote for the person gusto mong kampihan. You should vote for the person whom you can take into account. Or mali, a person who you can hold accountable.
Yes,
diba?
exactly.
Kasi if it's a person that you can hold accountable as a voter, yun, pwede, doon mo na ma-manifest or doon mo na express yung power mo as an individual. Diba? And I think empowerment ng people ang kailangan natin gawin. Not just for our city, because I live in Parañaque. So if we empower the individual, we can actually create a society of empowered groups. And
yeah, exactly. And people tend to forget that it's not supposed to be a war of your idols and the people and the powers that be. People tend to forget that you're voting because you want a better, well, for us, Parañaque, for the nation, a better Philippines na sana it benefits everyone. Kasi parang nauuna, for whatever reason, nauuna kasi yung pride. Nauuna yung, mas magaling kami. We're better than tao. Try that kind of concept. Pero it's easy to forget na, oh, by the way, the reason why we're having elections is we want a better society, better country for us, for us a better city. Mm-hmm. That is the plan still. That's the goal. Pero ang hirap din na mauuna kasi yung pride nila eh. But if you ask, you sometimes, and most of the time actually, what I try to do is, it's in reverse. Kasi usually, diba, it's the candidate na shouting and telling people, this is my whatever. So I do it in reverse. I actually ask the question, what do you want to see in Parañaque? What do you want for the next 3 years to look like? And then they'd actually stop and think, oh nga no. Parang never ko na-realize na I can be responsible for the future of Parañaque. And then the conversation keeps going after that, actually.
Mm-hmm. And this is a big responsibility. You're facing this uphill battle, and if you win, hindi siya titigil dun. It will always be an uphill battle. Mm-hmm. Pero you seem very inspired by, the stuff that you grew up being exposed to. So, what can you say to little fanboy Drew? Kung makita mo, somehow mag-time travel, makita mo si little fanboy Drew, ano sa tingin mo yung sasabihin niya sa'yo or ano sasabihin mo sa kanya? How will that exchange be like?
I feel like ako ang sasabihin ko sa kanya. Kasi parang sasabihin niya lang sa akin, look, nanalo na siya. Or parang, look, they won. Pero for me, siguro, I can tell parang, hold on to that spark. Hold on to that little fire that inspired you at such a young age. Hold on to that. Kasi you won't understand and realize later on. Kasi parang medyo ngayon ko lang siya or medyo late na as someone who's older na na-realize ko na influence pala siya sa akin. Kasi syempre, at a young age, entertainment lang siya. And then for now, parang na-realize ko na meron palang parang trajectory na or common message lahat ng pinagdaanan. And then now, yun nga, sasabihin ko sa kanya, hold on to that spark, watch it grow, and then watch it infect other people.
Last question, very important question. Kung manalo ka, di may office ka, di ba? Ano yung first action figure na ilalagay mo sa mesa mo?
Good question. I haven't thought of that.
Kasi that informs your mission statement eh.
Hindi siya masyadong related. Well, I guess a little bit. I guess I would like The Little Prince with a flowy red scarf. Isa sa mga biggest influences ko is yung question what society or what the concept of structure is supposed to be. And that's the reason why I'm here, because I'm questioning every single thing na pinagdadaanan or kinakailangan or mga traditions or yung mga makalumang mga ideas nila. I question them every single time, especially when I'm out. So, I guess for me, that will be very symbolic kasi parang, why are you counting stars? Or why are you, di ba, no, doing the whatever? How do you own the worlds and whatever? So, that's me, like the defiant little prince na trying to ask the right questions and try to come up with a better world.
Well said, well said.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for gracing Nerd Rage again.
Thank you for taking the time.
We wish you luck in the campaign. Thank you very much.
Thank you.